creature.
Tickle.
Hello and welcome out to another episode of The Prototype right here at thisweekingeek.net. We've had most of the summer off. We covered some stuff earlier in the year, especially as Summer Game Fest was going on and all that stuff. But it's time to slowly come back. We're not really back yet from our summer hiatus. That's in about a week and a half's time or so. But as we do every year, it is Gamescom opening night live. We have had a chance to watch everything that was shown. So, as always, I'm joined with Ken to talk about all the cool stuff that was announced there. We're not going to go into, as we usually don't, we're not going to go into like all the mobile games that are getting updates or conversions or ads, blah, blah. We're going to try to itemize for the most part all of the like new stuff or new-ish things to a game. Like, if it's a new announcement, obviously. If it's a new mode or a major change, we'll cover it, that sort of stuff. But yeah, I guess before we get into it, how have you been, Ken? What have you been playing so far this year?
So as I said, probably the last prototype, I did end up picking up that PS5. And
Nice.
I picked up Tokon and we played around with that for just to test out the multiplayer. But I also had PS Plus Extra, so I messed around with the extra catalog. Went through 100%ed Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart.
Well, I mean that's if you're looking for
that's
like
an easy
exclusives,
that's an easy 100% anyway.
And when I played that for review, like I remember one of the things I said was, it finally feels like at that point we've got something that, even though they're like, oh, it can be done, I was like, bullshit. That was something that you could really only experience well on the PS5, especially when you consider now we're several years on. And I know that you said to me in the chats that you're not a fan of the stuff they do with the controller, like the triggers and that.
The triggers. The only reason why I used it in Rift Apart was because of the way they do it, which is two levels. Of
the whole resistive triggers.
I don't like a full resistive thing. I think that's
very
stupid.
Few games actually use that outside of the first party. I've always been worried that if you use it too much, you're going to break your fingers or break the controller. But again,
considering all the mechanisms in the controller are plastic, it's going to break.
So like I usually turn it down to light or not, but very few games have really used it in the last year. The only one I can think of that used it very well was probably Saros. But again, first party stuff. What does make a difference, and you probably have noticed it, is how much better that the like haptic rumble is. Yeah,
the haptic, the rumble is next level. Like not even the Switch 2's haptics are that good.
Yeah, like the only thing that gives it a run for its money is probably the Kirby games. Like when they use it for like playing songs and stuff. Like, well, that's
they did that with that, and then they also did it with Mario Wonder.
Exactly. Yeah. Thing. So like that's great. That kind of stuff is more frequent on the PlayStation platform with those controllers.
For sure.
What do you think of like the ergonomics of it? Because it looks weird when you've never actually held one. But I actually don't think I can go back to using the PS4, which was my favorite, because my hands are so big.
It's better than the PS4. I just don't like the ergonomics of Sony's controllers.
Yeah,
I like my Xbox ergonomics. Like I have the 8-bit DOE, which for the PC, and then I'm also going to have an 8-bit DOE for the Xbox. eventually in the next like week
That's
or so,
fair.
because they've got the new one that is actually wireless.
Well, and that's the thing. I'm not sure if 8BitDo is doing anything with it, but some of the PDP stuff we've used, or the Victrix controllers, they have Xbox style controllers that they've made for the PlayStation. You just have to use the dongle, right? And
Yeah,
obviously
I don't want to deal with dongles.
Yeah, it's not,
I already have a dongle for my fucking headset for the PlayStation. I don't need one.
No, I hear you. So I think we're only a bit away. I've seen more and more of like the Chinese knockoffs popping up with different shapes of controllers. It's only a matter of time till 8BitDo or somebody actually make like a licensed one that will just use the tech, like the radio that's built in. Once that happens, great. Or if not them, maybe Hori or somebody will make one in Japan.
Well, I mean,
when
like,
that happens, it'll be good.
Now that Microsoft is officially letting third parties do the wireless tech, like 8BitDo is not the only one that has done that.
True.
Is wireless tech now for Xbox. It's just they're a little more expensive.
And PlayStation is approaching its end of its generation, in terms of like we're cycling into like a cross-gen thing.
Yeah, well, also they officially have a new version of their Pro controller that leaked. That's going to basically comply with European right to repair standards.
Yeah, replacing batteries, that sort of stuff. What we're going to see is, as they sunset the PS4, like, I mean, obviously the console's been sunset, everything, and like you can still buy some controllers, but when they sunset all the hardware, the games are still coming out, obviously. You started to see now in the last year a lot of knockoffs or third parties pop up that are completely purely wireless that work with the PS4. Like, they're not that their patent is up, but they're not guarding it as much. Once that's completely gone, and whatever the PS6, like, obviously that's going to be delayed because of global
everything
things
going on.
Yeah, but when that does come out, and when they've sunset it completely, and we're truly in the cross-gen PS5 to PS6 era, you're going to start seeing a lot more PS5 controllers come out in different shapes, and that, as it will be less of a focus for them. They're still going to be supporting it for years because of the install base, but I think you're jumping onto the PS5 at the right time before the prices go even more haywire. But also, there already are more options. Like, when Mike and I were just reviewing the system and using it in like 2020, 2021, you were kind of boned. Like, if the controller broke, you had to go buy another one. There was no third-party options. There was like no repair options. There was nothing. And now they're starting to trickle in more.
And like the controller I have that I got with the system, like literally the grippy stuff on one of the sticks is loose in the middle, so it's like a little bump on the stick, and it's like
both of the controllers I got, one when I bought the system and the one when I bought an extra one for the system when I got it at launch, both of them, the battery was dead, the other one started getting stick drift, got rid of them, but that was 4 or 5, I was almost 5 years in last year.
I'm pretty sure that controller that I have is like a Gen 2 controller.
Probably, because they did do a refresh in between.
Yeah, because like it is I'm pretty sure it's a launch slim.
Okay, yeah. So I have, what I have now is I have one of the black controllers when they did the first refresh. So that's what I used to replace my baseline controller, and the battery life is ever so slightly better. And then I have,
if I am going to replace the controller, it's going to be replaced with the purple one. Because
cool,
screw you.
Yeah, and I think there's a third revision that's, again, more battery efficient.
Yeah, there's 3 revisions of the controller.
And I also have the Edge controller, which I barely ever use because the battery life was lower, but it is more comfortable to use and it feels better. I just keep forgetting I have it, so I keep using the baseline controller. I think when that baseline controller that's colored dies, I'm just gonna buy a third party and use it.
The problem with the Edge controllers are that there's still plastic parts in them.
Yeah, and
that bothers me.
Birdman got it. He's the only person I've known that used it enough to have stick drift and have a problem. And he just bought one of those like $20 modules.
Yeah, you
and
just
it popped
replace
in.
the sticks.
So I mean, it's not great, and there is a upfront price of like 250 Canadian. I think we had to pay for it, or 220.
Yeah, it's like 200 US.
So like mine, the battery is still in good condition because I very rarely use it. There's no stick drift or anything. I pull it out when I'm getting serious. Like I'll use that for Final Fantasy VII. It'll be like I've got to use the premium controller. I got to dig out the good headphones, maybe even plug in like an external DAC that works with the system and just get the best experience possible. That'll be great. But
I'll play that on my Xbox. So
well, I am getting into that a little on the fence. I'm worried. It's like I want to play it on the PlayStation because I have the other saves on the PlayStation.
Right.
If they do like any save importing or something changing, otherwise
they will.
Because if they do that, if I get a review code, I'm going to get it on PC. And I don't have like a crazy high-end PC, but with that 3080 Ti,
your PC will run it.
My PC will run it likely at 14. Like they're not going to use I think RT for much of it.
You're gonna be considering that I have the Xbox version, so it's a play anywhere. My PC, I can run it 1440p at 60.
And that's all my TV is. It's a 60, and I'm not going to be using.
Yeah.
I'm not turning HDR on. I doubt, because they're using that same engine, it's not going to be using RT. I know that they had it, they could turn it on, but like I would rather just use their backlighting or have the ability to use one of their reshaders. Like you see all that stuff popping up, how people have done reshaders for it and that.
Oh, they'll those reshaders will come out for it in a week or so.
I would rather, instead of having to use like instead of doing like 4K on a system where it just scales it up or does whatever with it, or AI upscaling, I would just rather do like 1440p, no RT, max settings, native resolution, and just play the crap out of that on PC. But if I get it set for the console, I'll get it. Only thing that will make me sad is if they're like, hey, we only have the ability to send you an Xbox code, and all I've got still is, and if it's not a Play Anywhere, and all I've got is my Series S to play,
all of them are Play Anywhere. Like,
oh, then go ahead, send me the Xbox code, and I'll play it on PC.
Yeah, it's all Play Anywhere. Like Square has basically committed to Play Anywhere across the board on everything.
Well, that's sweet. And if they send over like a Switch 2 copy, I'm pretty sure that's what Birdman wants to play it on, because he's been loading up hundreds. Like you think he's got like 100 hours in his second playthrough on Switch 2 for that. So yeah, like it's going to be interesting. As far as what I've been doing, I've been playing some games for review. If you listen to the show, I've got them out. We've got more stuff coming. But I've been continuing on my journey collecting the like original hardware of old consoles, getting a few games for them for each, and then if it's like an old one where it's like really obscure stuff, I've been getting like flashcards and trying to play like old games or homebrew ROMs, stuff like that. And as of literally yesterday, after like almost 2 months at sea, my Japanese Dreamcast came in, because getting a Dreamcast locally in Ontario in working condition, like a NTSC USA one, is about $150 to $200 Canadian now. And that's for one that you don't necessarily know is going to work. I ended up getting at a Japanese auction the system for about $36. It cost me another $30 to ship it. And then I had to purchase, all I had to purchase was, I didn't even do that. I put it on a boat.
Oh.
I put it on the 3 or 4 month boat, and it got here in 2 months, and I'm like, holy crap, it wasn't crushed. And I was like, I'm going to take a risk. If I'm only paying $36 on it, I'll take the risk. But I got a third party VGA cable from China, from like AliExpress, for like $10. I got an extension cable for the controller. It came with a VMU, which all I had to do was put a couple batteries in. The screen is a little iffy with it, but that works at least. After we're done recording, I'm finally going to test the system. But I've got it all hooked up, and I have a couple of games. I got like Virtua Fighter 3 uh, complete in the box for $2, and it costs an extra dollar to ship it, and it came snail mail from Japan. So I've been doing pretty well that way. And as of this recording, I haven't paid for shipping yet, but I have, sitting in a warehouse in Japan, uh, an N64 that I won at auction for $18, and it says it's
Nice.
working. So it comes with a controller. I forget what else it comes with, but I'll have to double check it. It didn't look like it was in bad cosmetic condition. And I already have a couple of import games that I got on eBay from a guy in Toronto for like $3. I got like the Nagano Olympics for $3, and I got what else? I got a baseball game for $2. Just something I can pop in and play and see how it works. So I've got that sitting there. It's probably going to cost me $40 or so to ship it. We'll see, but it's going to come quicker because weirdly, it's at the exact right measurements and specifications that shipping it by airmail, which takes up to 12 days, is like $30 or $40, but it's like $10 more to ship it by boat, which is usually cheaper, and that can take up to 4 months. So I'm not exactly sure why, because it's a physically bigger system than the Dreamcast. I'm wondering if it's just
also it's an N64, and Nintendo makes their shit like a tank.
Yeah, so it might be that like the measurements of it, because it's like
Or like
maybe
or like just perfect for a certain type of box that has a flat fee or something or other.
Because I think like the controller for the Dreamcast and is about the same height as an N64 controller that it's coming with, but it may be one of those cases where the box that they received it, because you know it goes through a what's it, like a third party sends it to the warehouse, and the warehouse then sends it to you. I didn't pay for repackaging. It was just apparently shipped in a box. The box that they chose might be like half an inch too tall to be under the certain threshold for airmail or something.
Something like that.
And then it just like skyrockets in price or whatever. It's probably one of those things. But I've got that stuff coming. So I've already got all of my. I got a DS. I had a DSi a while ago already, but I got an original DS that was consoleized, like converted into basically like a GBA Maxi, where it only has the bottom screen on it. I've got that, so I've got something to play my GBA games. I've got my DS. I also, about a week and a half ago, got a 2DS, like the wedge one, right? I got one of those, and I was able to get that all up and running. Got extra battery for it, and surprisingly, the original battery, after what is it now, 10 years that the 2DS wedge was out, it was still holding about a 90% charge, and apparently the person that sold it said, "Oh yeah, I haven't had it plugged in like 8 months." And I was like, I forgot that they still use that like legendary battery that they used for the. It's basically the same as the DS Lite battery, only it had like a different notch so that you couldn't put them in the same. You know what I mean? You couldn't swap them, even though they're basically the same. And I forgot how legendary that original battery was.
All right.
So yeah, that's basically what I've been doing. I've been doing my retro thing. I've still got, my feelers out for a Game Gear and maybe a 3DO, but I'm approaching the end of systems that are actually affordable, that are not
feasible.
Like,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like it's got to be affordable, feasibly affordable, but also have enough games to make it worthwhile, that are worthwhile playing, to do it. Otherwise, at that point, you may as well, like, even like the 3DO, a lot of the 3DO games are starting to show up as ports on PC for like $5. It's no longer a case of like, oh, you've got to pirate it or you've got to spend like $400 on discs. You're starting to get away from that. So like, where I'm left with things that are like, what can I get for under $100 if I can get a good deal? It's like Game Gear, Neo Geo Pocket Color, maybe an N-Gage. It's a few of the handles, and then of course like the Vita and a PSP. The PSP will probably be the easiest one to come by for about $100. Just got to make sure that the battery hasn't like swollen up and exploded or something. But outside of that, I'm pretty much caught up with all of my stuff that isn't like really weird and obscure. It's just like, I'm not going to get a CDI. It's going to cost us what? Like $500? No, thank you. I'm not getting a Neo Geo CD. It's like $800 Canadian. A 3DO, if you're lucky, you can get one for 200, but I'm going to still keep an eye out. And then basically like a TurboGrafx, again, keep an eye out if it's dirt cheap somewhere, or maybe it's in rough condition and I can do something with it. But yeah, like I'm pretty much caught up that way. And yeah, like that's sort of been my journey. That's what I'm doing. I'm collecting them so that I can then start streaming and doing fun stuff with them. And it's something about having them tangibly in your hands is better than just like, oh, playing a port on the Switch or something. It's something neat about holding those controllers and stuff again. So yeah, I guess we may as well sort of get into the show. I will do a brief little thing here at the beginning to mention that I did get a chance before Gamescom opening night live, about a week or so ago, maybe a little more. I had a chance to play one of the games exclusively that was shown here ahead of time. You know, one of those press embargo events where it wasn't just a presentation to me. It was something where I actually got to, you know, remote in, play the game, see how it felt, do a couple hour session with it. And that was one of the games revealed here, which was Ubisoft's Heroes of Might and Magic 3 Remake. You know, it's interesting in that I did not ever play the games back in the day. I remember seeing them. I didn't have a PC capable of playing them. I could actually, no, that's a lie. I could do maybe on like low settings back then. But like this was in the era of right around the time or right before stuff like Warcraft 3 was coming out, and what I would call like the late night, like the early 2000s generation of 3D games were starting to pop up, where like games and genres that had traditionally been 2D were being converted to 3D, that sort of stuff. I didn't really get a system powerful enough to play these sorts of games until 2001, whereas like 98 to 2000 I was really like, I was sort of stuck. I either had to play it on like N64 or my Dreamcast, and if I couldn't play it on those two, then I wasn't gonna be able to play it on PC. So
yeah,
I had a chance to get hands
I was too young.
Well, and that's the thing too, right? Like, so like Birdman is an early 80s kid. I'm a late 80s kid. You're an early to mid 90s kid. So for you, like, you were like 6. You weren't going to be playing this. Like,
I was playing Tonka Trucks on my Windows 98 computer.
Exactly. Like, I think at this point, my brother's a year older than you, and he didn't get his first computer until 2001.
Correct.
Like at this point, he, like, in 1999, when Heroes of Might and Magic 3 came out, I would have been 12, turning 13. So I was like at the right age to be into this stuff. Like, I was at this point,
if you had just a PC.
We had just gotten a PC for myself. Like, I remember distinctly where I was when this stuff was coming out. My dad did renovation work for a landlord that owned a bunch of like student housing stuff. And he's like, here's your payment. And by the way, you can grab anything you want. We're just tossing this stuff at the curb when students would like leave stuff behind after the semester. And I got a AMD K62 whatever. Basically, it was the equivalent of like a high-end Pentium 2 or a low-end Pentium 3. And my dad's like, here's happy birthday. You know, it wasn't my birthday. It was in the middle of the summer. He's like, this is your big birthday gift, because otherwise we're going to sell it and make some money. And I got my first, prior to that, I had used like a hand-me-down like 386 that we got for $20. Where I could play a few DOS games. But this was the first PC where I could play anything, because it came with like a very early ATI like Rage card. Like, it was one of the very early ones. Whoever built it probably paid like $600 or $700 to build it at that time in 90s money, right? And I ended up using that until I was able to, like, I used that around year 2000, 99, 2000. I used that until 2003 or 4 when I built my first PC myself, and I put in like my GeForce, and I had like a one of the very first 64-bit AMD CPUs where you had to get a specific version of Windows XP for it, and not everything worked. I did all that stuff then, but this is that weird gap in between. So I knew of I had the magazines, I would watch the TV shows that would have like commercials for stuff like this. I had heard of the series. I did not know, even until very recently, that Heroes of Might and Magic was a different series than Might and Magic, like how it was a spin-off and its own thing, and I thought they were all the same, yada yada yada. So this was the first time I got to sit down and really like dig into it. And I know that it's one of the more popular games of the franchise. That's why they started with it. But if you are listening to this and you watched, go back and watch the trailer that they showed at Opening Night Live. It's going to be everywhere on Ubisoft's channels and everything. What they've done is it's like they've taken the original game that had all these different factions, anything that was with expansions, they've all put it into one game here, and then so you can play as every faction right out of the gate, and they have redone it in a completely brand new engine. So it's like pure 3D modern. It looks very pretty for what it is, and it is a strategy game where you have day-night cycles with stamina between turns, and you're managing your town, managing your heroes. So it's like a little bit of an RTS that way. And then when you actually initiate combat with somebody, it goes into a grid-based, turn-based strategy RPG, where you're moving across the tile map and then doing spells and all that sort of stuff. And I had a couple hours to have hands on. I got to play an intro, which is with one of the factions, and it's sort of like teaching you how to use everything. I figured it out pretty quickly. It's pretty fun. It worked great. And then you had basically an hour and a half, depending on how well you did, to play another session. I chose to play as the Necromancer faction, which turns out was a choice because it meant that I was just getting nuked. It was way harder. The demo representative that was helping me, like, they basically set you up and then they're there to answer questions if you need anything. I said, did you not tell me this was the hardest one? And my rep goes, yeah, sorry, dude. I'll tell you this now. I've done these sessions many times. I don't think I've ever seen anybody, even internally, beat that session at the default settings. And I was like, how come you didn't say anything? He goes, it's more fun watching you try. And I'm like, oh. So I party wiped bad. Like, there is B-roll footage that I've got. We don't do a lot of video with our stuff. Maybe we'll package something together. But as it stands now, I can tell you this: I did not do well. I did interesting things and I had a lot of fun. I was learning the systems, and then I had about 20 minutes left over at the end, where I was able to re-roll and go in, and I played the main faction that was sort of through the initial part of the demo, and that was a much easier time. Like, it was pretty clear that, like, not every session.
You picked hard mode.
I picked hard mode without them telling me and without it being obvious. And then I went, wait a minute, it kind of usually is that, like, the Necromancer races in games are usually the harder ones to play because they know that hardcore people are going to do that. But it doesn't quite tell you. You sort of figure it out. And they all the factions have different ways of playing and what they do. And it's pretty fun. There's so many levels and deep things. I can't get into all of it because I'm just sort of giving my impressions of it now, because obviously we're a ways away. This is coming next year. So I had hands on. It's an early build. Looks good. As far as I can't, judge, I can't do any review scores or anything or impressions beyond the fact that I was playing it remotely, right? So think like Google Stadia, with the streaming. It looked great. My B-roll footage that I was sent, because they recorded my session for me, looks better. But I had to keep in mind that it was 1080p at like medium to high settings, just to make sure that nothing would be stressing it while you're playing it. I encountered no slowdowns or like, well, yeah, or break and just die on me, because that's not great to happen when you're doing a demo session. But they said it's going to be 4K, high res, high refresh rate,
expectations,
all that.
General expectations you would get from a modern game anyway.
Exactly, and it played quite well. I had a good time with it. We'll see about putting together some sort of preview with it, but as it stands now, I wanted to say thank you to Ubisoft for letting me do that. It's the first time I've done that sort of a session. I've done a whole bunch of sessions where it's a presentation where you're in a group setting and then they sort of show you a stream and you can ask Q&A and all that. And I've done a couple where they're like, do that, and by the way, here's access to a demo, play the demo and talk to us. It was the first time I did it where it was purely interactive and basically you're learning as you go and you get to control it. So that was cool. Thanks to them for that. It was shown there. What I saw in my presentation was honestly more than what they showed there. So I'm assuming as of this recording, more stuff is going to come out, because it's one of those things where I think they're going to be showing more stuff over the course of this week. So
I think they're either showing it IGN or they're showing it Xbox. I forget which.
Yeah, there will be more, because what I saw was the presentation, that was the trailer they had here, but more behind the scenes, like not behind the scenes, but it was clearly a presentation intended for a wider audience than just the press. It's just that's what I got to see, and there's going to be more stuff that comes. And you know how this stuff goes with embargoes. So like, please don't talk about this before we're ready. Yada yada yada. I can say I had a good time with it though, especially as of this recording, because we'll make sure that this episode is out after that information is live. So there you go, people. And again, thanks to the Ubisoft rep for hooking me up with that opportunity, because it's cool to see something as it's evolving as we go. With that done, we should move into just sort of talking about what the show was like. Let's just give it an overall score. I think it's a B. On the letter grade score, it's a B. It was pretty solid. It was not anything spectacular. There were some interesting things. Nothing crazy surprise like, oh my god, it's insane. But you can't really expect that only 2 months after Summer Game Fest. If these were spread out every 4 months, like Summer Game Fest, then the Game Awards, it's one thing. But also it's also close to TGS, so a lot of the Japanese companies aren't going to show everything they want to show here, right? So you basically get all of the European companies that want to show cool stuff that couldn't get things in time for Summer Game Fest,
or some of the Asian companies that decided to choose Gamescom over TGS.
Yes, basically you get the stuff that is from like either China, Korea, Philippines, but all of the major Japanese companies are going to show very little. That's just sort of an expectation, because why would they do that when in like 2 to 3 weeks they're having TGS? So
exactly.
Well, I mean, with an exception or two, right? Obviously, we had Final Fantasy here.
The obvious people showed up.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a B. Some people might say, "Oh, it's an F because there wasn't that." No, objectively, it was a good, solid show. The pre-show had a few things. I didn't write any notes down directly or only in the chat that we had. There were a few announcements there, some interesting looking things, but like there was
the big one for me personally was Mariachi Legends officially has a date now.
Yeah, and you said you're a backer of that when it was Kickstarter.
Yes, I am a backer of that. They officially put out the Kickstarter update saying, "Hey, we announced the date. It's in April. Have fun."
Good. I mean, that's great. So
they had already said we are planning to release it spring next year anyway. So I was expecting somewhere around that date to begin with. But yeah, Mariachi Legends. It's a Metroidvania with a Mexico theme, and it's from the guys that did the really great pixel art of Nine Souls, I believe is the name of the game.
Yeah.
And like that pixel art is amazing, and then this pixel art is just like a step up from that. So it's like, okay, cool. Good track record. So I was like, I'll immediately back this because I like the theming of it, very Day of the Dead kind of style to it. So I again, looking forward to it.
Oh yeah, like I mean, there's that. There was a 2 Worms games announced, I believe. It was a remake of, I think, the original. So
yeah,
something
that it's about time to remake the original.
So because something else,
I think the anniversary is coming up for that first game. It might be.
Yes, it would
make sense.
It would have to be the 30th or 35th at this point, I think.
Yeah, something around there.
I'm trying to think. What else was there in there? There was a couple other things. If I could scroll very quickly into our group chat, because I was keeping a running tally at the very beginning before we went in, and it got too hectic because I forgot it's a full 2-hour show. So if I go back in our chat, or not because it decided to just close on me. Anyway, yeah, if I know it was Worms. There were a few other things. Obviously, Kyle Bossman was hosting it. It was a pre-recorded thing. And I think his introduction to Jeff was also
pre-recorded. So we got 2 Worms games, Train Sim World 7, Atari Roller Coaster Tycoon.
Right.
Some bad AI game that whatever.
Yeah, I think I just noted bad AI game.
Chinese Bayonetta Stellar Blade knockoff with bad English
Oh,
VO. Gen Gods is the name of it.
oh yeah, there was that. So
Perceptum, which is like sea level horror game.
yeah, there were a few like that
Ecornia,
were
Ecornia Mirror Worlds, which popped up in my, because like that's a me game. It's like restaurant sim meets like a
right.
Ratchet and Clanky kind of style
That
game
was the one
with
that
the
yeah, that I said
squirrel.
it looked like Ratchet and Clank done, but the characters are kind of uh like the art of like Cuphead, but the
Yeah,
world is like Ratchet and Clank style from like the PS3
yeah.
era kind of look. So yeah, that I mean
It's
that's all
it's
cool.
it's a Paper Mario-y kind of style to it.
Yeah, and that was sort of the opening show. If we're missing anything, we can always cover it another time. But the
Yeah.
as far as new stuff in the main show, we can say that there was a musical performance. Was it just about the halfway point, maybe just before that? That was for the Mugenics. I'm
Yes.
assuming was it the same people that did the music in the game? They didn't really say if it was.
They are one of the artists that are a part of the game.
Okay,
Yes.
because I've heard of the game. I heard it was a lot of people saying that they were off put by things being very gross within it, but I was like, I don't.
It's a gross it's the Binding of Isaac dev. It's gonna be gross. You just expect
Oh,
that.
okay, okay, and I know it's like yeah, okay, cool. It was an interesting performance. They were all wearing sort of like cat masks and cat makeup, and
And
my
also
comment,
and also
my,
they got Jeff to come out and say, "Hey, it's coming out in 2 weeks on consoles."
yeah, that's right, because it had previously been PC only,
It's
and
PC only. Honestly, I own the PC version. I played a little bit of it. It is a hard ass fucking tactics game.
that's what I've heard from everybody
It will
that's
beat
played
your
it.
shit in.
My comment when seeing them was like this. I was like this new iteration of Ghost with is a little odd because like it just reminded me like the cat masks looked a lot like the nameless ghouls. Um,
Yeah.
but I mean it was an interesting performance. And I'm glad that they're doing that now.
The
They
the
are really
music
trying to
is
make,
the music is very weird, and that music is very weird.
which was fine with it. Like it was a good
Exactly.
performance. And it also suits it that they're getting more music stuff. They're trying to make this a bigger production because Gamescom is the largest gaming trade show in the world now. It's just the opening night live has not had that feel of a proper E3 yet, and it's starting to get that way now. So
Yeah.
good for them. That was cool.
Give it
Now,
another year or two, and it will be a full blown E3 kind of presentation.
oh yeah, oh, of course. Like they're going to announce how many millions of viewers are here this time, and you'll probably see next year, the year after, they'll do something that way.
Yeah.
Opening up as far as new stuff, again, we're only talking really about new for the most part, unless otherwise stated. Ubisoft announced outside of what we just talked about with the remake, the full remake
Might
of
Magic.
Heroes of Might and Magic 3. Oh, which I forgot to mention there. One of the cool things that they said was in the preview they showed, which wasn't in the trailer here, but I'm assuming is in the actual
Whatever
presentation.
presentation they're gonna show at Xbox or
Yeah,
IGN.
because in my guidelines, it doesn't say anything about not saying this after this date. Is that they show that you can import the maps from the map editor of the original game, and it will auto convert them into the modern game and make them all work perfect, which is awesome. I don't know there's more details of that. I don't think I'm spoiling anything because they're going to show it off later. It was something that I made my notes. I was like,
that is a
this is a big deal.
Pop-off moment. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see when that gets shown. I'm not in trouble. I swear. I read through the document. That it just wasn't shown in the trailer. But we'll see what comes later of that because it'll be interesting to try. But yes, they also showed off from Ubisoft Rainbow Six Tactics. They're making an XCOM like. So
with the Rainbow Six Siege operators, which that makes sense. You have a cast of characters
that people have been playing for 10 years.
Yeah, like to build an XCOM team. Sure. And
also
they have 12. They're going to have 12 operators to start at launch, and they'll probably have a bunch of DLC with the rest of the team.
Oh yeah, and on top of that, you've also got it's not the same studio making it, but they have experience making this style of game with the Mario Kingdom Battle game and Sparks of
Yeah.
Hope.
And
So
I'm sure
they're not going to be exactly the same,
even
but
though
they look
even
similar.
though that, but like even though that team got dissolved, I'm sure some people still stayed with Ubisoft,
or just like the experience, because it's very rare that
Yeah.
an Ubisoft title is purely made with one studio and no input. They all share the duties of helping, right? So
exactly.
this is a company that has made modern good games like that. So we'll hopefully get a chance to check it out ourselves later. It looked interesting. It also looked like it's scalable, that it'll run on pretty much every hardware. So it's like it's in that like
yeah,
not
that
it's
thing
not
will run. Given the fact that Siege runs on pretty low end hardware, they're gonna try and have it run on low end hardware to get some of the Siege players.
It doesn't look like it doesn't look like a AAA game that's going to, push things.
It looks
but
like
it also
looks like a good AA.
Yeah, like an upper tier AA game, and with some better quality cutscenes. Something that isn't completely new, but is getting a new version, is Crimson Desert. It's getting what they're calling enhanced.
Yes.
You mentioned that it's basically all the stuff that's come out over the summer.
Yeah, they're just renaming it enhanced, and probably calling it enhanced to re-release it on physical media for the holiday season.
Yeah. Tides of Annihilation, they did a whole trailer to announce the new voiceover replacement, because the main character, she's left for health reasons, she had said, and it's being replaced by the voice actress. I didn't get a chance to write down her name because I think it was hard for me to write down, but it's the actress that voiced Grace in Resident Evil 9.
Yeah.
So if you weren't truly like steeped in voice actor fandom, you probably wouldn't be able to tell it's a different actress. They did a pretty good job finding not a sound alike, but like somebody with a similar range.
Anyone's gonna, if you have someone that can do a good English accent, you got someone that can do a good English.
But
accent. Also, granted, Jen English was an English actress, but yeah.
But specifically, like the tone and pitch is basically the same.
Yeah, it's not going to, unless you saw the original announcement trailer, you're not going to notice.
Yeah, so it's not going to be like dramatic changes. Like you're not going to feel different playing it. Mega Man Dual Override finally had an actual gameplay trailer, which we thought was going to be saved for Xbox, but we didn't know that they were going to have something here.
I mean, we obviously were going to see gameplay regardless, because that's what Xbox is doing. They're doing their little treehouse at Gamescom thing.
Yeah. So you've got that, and then I guess it ended with a skin for Pragmata with the Mega Man skin. So
that's
cool.
That's cute.
Exactly.
It's pure Capcom. Capcom does skins like it's no tomorrow.
Game of Thrones War for Westeros, they showed off gameplay. It was announced previously, but I don't think we saw actual how the game looks before.
Yeah, they basically said, hey, we're making a Game of Thrones RTS. We don't have much to show yet.
Yeah.
Now we're showing it.
Dust Origins. This was from the Darksiders devs. What is it? Airship Syndicate, I think?
Yes.
And they're making a new isometric action game. Cool. That's the best way to say it, just cool. Exodus, not new, except that they had a proper trailer for the character Assault, which is the Ascended. I think they call it Ascended. Whatever, the evolved form of a sentient octopus who becomes a team member. And they also finally gave the date for the game. It's April 7th.
Finally,
after like 3.5 years it's been in development for like 5 years, and after like 3.5 years of just trailer after trailer after trailer and nothing, and we now not just like a goal. Like last time when I was part of one of those presentations for Summer Game Fest where we're like, hey, we're showing it off, and then people were asking, is there a date? And they're like, well, we're aiming for 2027. It's like, aiming? Come on. And now they obviously had a date ready, but they were probably waiting to be like, GTA better not get pushed to spring again.
Yeah.
And also, knowing them, they probably were also thinking like, when is like Final Fantasy coming out? They're probably like, screw it, we just have to release it at some point. So
Yeah.
April seems like a good time for that. Because if you notice, like January, February is starting to get pretty full, and
now April is starting to fill up.
yeah, so it's like, and very few people want to launch like in pure summer. It's not usually a great time, even though you think it would be. It's just that a lot of people that have the disposable income, they go out for vacation
right before summer.
Yeah, you want like April, May at the latest, and then
you
want like
the only
August.
the only people that launch games during the summer are Nintendo, and it's Nintendo.
Yeah, it's like Nintendo and Sony first party will launch, and that's about it. Nobody else, like, even Xbox doesn't really like doing a June, July launch, and when they do, look what happens. Look what happened with
Halo.
With the Halo, right? Like,
I mean, it still sold pretty well on PlayStation. Don't get me wrong.
April and May are becoming good months because look at what happens with like 007, right? Like they're becoming like you're releasing them
look at what happened with Crimson Desert. Crimson Desert released at the end of March.
Exactly. It's becoming like how the summer blockbuster started bleeding over into May. Now you're seeing it like that with games too, because they're realizing people in the summer when they're doing their vacation, they're not spending as much as they used to, and the game's costing more, so they'd rather like go on vacation and then they'll buy games in like August and September again. Warlock, which had a teaser trailer previously, actually had in-game alpha footage. That's the Dungeons and Dragons game from,
and we definitely know it's in game because there was stuff popping all over the place.
Yeah, there was a tiny bit of traversal stutter, but it says pre-alpha footage. This is not representative of the final game, but everything's in game, and I'm like, yeah, you sure are, and but in a good way. It wasn't like dramatically bad, but it was all believable.
I understand it's pre-alpha footage, but it's not faked pre-alpha footage.
Yeah, and it was. To me, it was like God of War, Dungeons and Dragons, and maybe like there was a little bit of environmental stuff in there.
It's modern God of War.
Yeah, like the modern. Yeah, when I say I mean like the Ragnarok style, but also a little bit like it's not like the FromSoft style, but like it had a feeling of like there's open world.
It's Souls adjacent.
It's like the way that Souls stuff. Actually, you know what the best description I can think of is? It felt like God of War meets Dragon's Dogma.
There you go.
And how like you can interact with the environment, you can throw people off ledges, you can pull a tree down to knock somebody out, and at the same time, enemy factions are attacking each other and they won't even pay attention to you until you interact with them. So like the world can just sort of be playing itself, and then you can be interactive within the world. So that's made me think of like Dragon's Dogma 2 mixed with God of War. 1001 Threads of Mizan, which is it was part of the Saudi fund, like the new studio that they put together. I forget the name of the studio, but it's a AAA studio designed to make like pure AAA, like single player experiences, like not something you usually expect.
It's a
Saudi fund.
It's a cultural thing, not a make money thing. Yeah,
like this feels like, hey, like we're gonna make a prestige game or two that shows off our culture. It doesn't appear to be something that's going to be microtransaction to death. It also doesn't appear to be live service or anything. It's like they want a few tentpole things to be like advertising their culture. It's similar to...
It's probably going to be if I were to guess, given the trailer, it would be like a group of friends survival-y type game,
like a co-op single player adventure, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, something like that.
And we'll see more of it later, but that's the feeling it gave, like a little bit of Prince of Persia, a little bit of a co-op adventure game, not like a massively multiplayer or anything. High production value.
No friends slop shit.
Yeah, like stuff that we would have seen 10 years ago from a lot of these companies.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
And it's like you said, it's a prestige thing. It's part of like their sovereign wealth fund. Like I think it even advertised it's like part of that, whatever that plan is. They have like so many years of showing off their culture.
Yeah.
sort of like when they would book like major WWE events to happen, and it's like to advertise tourism sort of thing. And that's how they can get away with like it may not eventually make a ton of money, but that's not necessarily the point. It's not
Yeah,
the
it's not.
hey
It's
hey
not the point.
let's make a live service that goes forever, advertise or microtransaction that goes forever. It's hey, let's make a premium thing that we can boast that we made that's better than other things, that sort of thing. So
Exactly.
we'll see that Snoop Dogg is going to be in Hitman.
Sure.
Yes.
I'm surprised he hasn't already.
And I was like, before it was like, I knew it was Hitman. I sort of knew it was Hitman, but then when they're like showing like the montage of the characters in the game, I was like, wait, Pitbull's in this too, and I was like, oh no, that's just Agent 47. Which it would be hilarious if they got Pitbull in, and it's Hitman going after Pitbull.
Well, Pitbull
then, like,
wasn't Hitman, remember?
Oh my God! Right? Yes. Oh, you're right. Okay, they've done it already. So yeah.
Yeah.
Afterworld, which is the new Paradox. We're assuming RTS or some sort of strategy. They didn't show any gameplay. It was a CGI trailer only. We'll see what happens, but it's Paradox. It's usually going to be an RTS, or it's either a pure RTS or a Civ-like. So we don't know yet.
Yeah.
Turok Origins, the big announcement there, other than showing some more gameplay, was the game will be playable online and offline. That's obviously to show that, hey, it's not just a purely online like multiplayer game, and also that's to appease people that are like, I don't want to play anything that the servers can be shut down. I'm not going to pay you full price for something that I can't own, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So that's clearly why they did that. We'll see as we get closer to it. It looks interesting. Gravhounds. That's the third person over the shoulder shooter like Gears of War, but you're playing as a dog.
Yep.
That's the best way to describe. Hey,
it looks like a little higher end friend slop, but you're playing as dogs.
And that's like they're like, hey, we're taking requests for press if you want to. Maybe we'll get a preview copy to look at. But like, I was like, what is going on here? Lego Skylines. Cool. That's the best way I could describe it.
It's cool. Lego City. It's Lego City Skylines. That's it.
They found a way to make it so that it'll probably run on lower end hardware because it's Lego. It's more like solid. Like there's not as many details it has to like render.
Exactly. And also the Lego company has been like pimping out their stuff to a bunch of different devs now. So we're gonna get a bunch of different looking Lego games.
Oh, 100%.
And also given the fact that it has been forever since there was a city builder Lego game, this is gonna sell like hotcakes.
Oh yeah, man. And it's like chill, so you could totally do that. Zoo Punk, which I thought at first was that chicken game where you're the giant chicken fighting people in like God of War style, because that also had a bunch of animals. It's another animal game with similar looking characters. I'm like, what? It's a complete. So I don't know. Like, I don't know which came first. Like, is it this one or the chicken or the egg? Like, this might, I'm worried, confuse people if they start coming out around the same time, because it looked a lot like that game.
Well, the chicken game was like really early. So we're not going to see that chicken game until like 2028.
Oh yeah, you're right. So yeah, I mean, it looks cool, whatever. And then they closed out the show. The last two things were Final Fantasy VII Revelation got a trailer for the weapons, which if you're not somebody who's ever played Final Fantasy VII, is probably like mesmerizingly cool. I was expecting more from this trailer. Not that it's disappointing. Like they brought out Hamauchi, the director of it. Like it's clear that this is a big deal. That they're putting him at all the major trade show events. He even spoke English there. Didn't have a translator with him. Did his best. Thank God they didn't try to make him speak German, because that would have just been cruel if he's having a hard time with English.
Oh God, yeah. Well, I know that Gamescom has like multiple streams where they have like dubbing. No.
Oh no, but I mean, could you imagine
so.
It's got to be nerve-wracking, English is not, he's not a fluent English speaker. He can have conversational at best. And like
Yes.
at best, he could do like, asking directions. Like usually, if you're asking serious questions, he has to have a translator with him just to make sure that you're getting the nuance right and he doesn't say the wrong thing or interpret it wrong. But he can get by. Like it's quite clear he could like order food, do whatever he wants. But could you imagine
He
like
can get around.
Can you imagine like he's already there and they're like, hey, could you speak German? And he'd be like, what? like what? It's not even like it's close enough to English. Like there's enough of a difference where it's like nope. And I'm fully expecting that if they do another one of these showcases in like Latin America, that he'll show up and they'll be like, hey, could you speak Portuguese or Spanish? And be like, no. But it was cool that he's there. What I was hoping for with a trailer specifically for the weapons was that it was going to show how, because they've talked about like how each of them is going to be a different style encounter and with different mechanics. They showed none of that. They just showed what they look like, and it's like cool. But I was hoping for more. We also didn't get like a demo drop or a date, like more information on the date or
I
anything
guarantee
like that.
they're at least saving. They're either saving the demo for Game Awards and they'll announce the date at Tokyo Game Show or vice versa.
Yeah, like I'm thinking. I think Tokyo Game Show. If I had to make a prediction, I think Tokyo Game Show is going to have something shown. Like they're saving. It won't be like
something big.
It might be another playable character for a section or two. I think they're going to show what. I think if they're going to show anything, it'll be a tease of what Zach's doing.
Yeah.
Like what they need to show. If they showed the weapon here, you want to show us something strange. You show something like Zach, not necessarily with a weapon. Like you show him doing something. But like
show us something original that is coming with this game.
Yeah, show us something original with it. Like either more of the battle mechanics with the different jobs. Just show us more of the jobs. Or if you're going to show Zach, you do something that makes people go, wait, what? Like you show him flying on, like him on the golden chocobo or something, and he's landing on the island where like Knights of the Round is or something. Like show him doing something that benefits the team and not just like how he's on this parallel thing where he only interacts in final battles. Like show that there's a reason that he's still around and that there's a reason like they should show him in a control of a party. And I mean, okay, we don't necessarily want things spoiled, but my prediction is if they show him fighting, he won't be fighting alone, and I don't think he'll be fighting with the main team. I think he's going to be with the Avalanche people that in the parallel world survived.
Yes.
So you're going to see
and that's going to be a pop off.
If you want, maybe not. Don't show the whole thing. Don't show them all fighting. But if you want to make people pop off because we've already shown, some of the team members surviving in the last game. You want to make it pop off, you just have him be like, all right, it's time. I gotta go help them. I'm going on a mission or whatever he's going to say, talking to himself, about being like, honor as a soldier. And then you just have somebody, a woman's voice go, all right, let's get going, soldier boy. And then it's Jesse.
Yeah.
They just show
pop off.
Show her in the silhouette in like the room where he's like talking to like Aerith's grave in his world or whatever. Yeah. And then he's just like, and she's like, all right, let's go help them, soldier boy. And then it's her. And then that's how you end it. That's how you tease it, where you're like, what? But also not showing the gameplay or anything. Like that's exactly. If you're gonna have and people will get mad. Some of the big YouTubers be like, oh, you shouldn't have spoiled anything. That's how you get people hyped, right? You do something like that because she's the one that they didn't show her coming back at all. Because everybody else,
teasing.
All the other guys that died had a flashback or had an alternate world where they showed them. She's the only one where in all of Zach's alternate realities or even clouds wasn't there. So they're either like it seems odd that they wouldn't even reference her. Right, so it feels like that was. I mean, we deliberately saved.
I believe we know in Zach's timeline she's working. She's actually is working at the Golden Saucer
because they're
and like her lie is the lie that she told her parents in Cloud's timeline.
Yeah, because the only reference in Rebirth to her outside of him having like almost PTSD flashbacks is when they're at the Gold Saucer and like you see her poster and he's like
Yeah.
taken aback and he's like, oh, it's somebody I know, or knew or whatever. Like there's a reference to that. That's it. So
Yeah.
I think you want to get people like, what? It's just you do your little trailer and at the end you have Zach and you have where you can start playing the mind games of, oh my God, because you didn't get to play as her, having her play with Zach, where he's like getting his like dead misfits together.
Yeah.
to help them, because it's like it's too much for just the one team. He's like, you can't hog all the glory. Let's go help them, that sort of thing. That I and that's just obviously fan thinking, but like that they've openly said everything in this game and this series has been meticulously thought through. They are very deliberate on not just what they show you, but what they haven't shown you, and what they haven't shown you that they are hoping you don't notice until after you've played it. And they did that very much so with the last game, more so than even the first one. And they're doing it here. And she's the only major character from the first game that was not shown at all in the second game. So that's probably going to be something weird through there. And then, of course, they ended with Witcher 3, Songs of the Past, the new expansion coming 11 years after the release of the game. But also the big surprise was the previous expansions that would have been like the Game of the Year editions. Is that what they called it? The Game of the Year editions or Complete Edition, whatever it was. Blood and Wine, and what was the other game?
Yeah,
the other...
it's Complete Edition because literally when I went to go check my Witcher 3 copy immediately transferred into the Complete Edition.
There we go. Yes. So that's the surprise, is anybody who owns the baseline game on any platform is getting an automatic free upgrade to the Complete Edition, which included the 2 major expansions that were released previously. And on top of that, there's an update coming that is going to put the game into a brand new updated version of the engine, which is the version that they're going to be using for the new expansion, which adds like a whole bunch of new execution animations, tons of bug fixes, and updates
and
for
also
lighting.
This is also the engine I assume is running Witcher 4 and possibly the Witcher 1 remake.
Yeah, or at least perhaps a slightly stripped, like it feels like this is going to be a half step between. So like whatever they're doing with Witcher 1 remake and Witcher 4 will be doing more intensive updates as far as the graphics. This is like the underlying base is likely using this. And
that update is coming at the end of September.
Yeah, so and it was pretty substantial as a free update too. So
absolutely. It's a laundry list of stuff. So much so that they were like, we don't have enough room in this trailer to give you all the updates, and not even the news update on the actual Witcher Steam page says we've got way too many to actually list here.
Yeah, like they're on basically the We're Sorry tour from just how
We're Sorry tour over how Cyberpunk was
like
such a mess up.
And anybody coming into this now is like, was it really? It's like for something that was 6 years old, they botched. It was one of the worst botches in the entire industry's history. That's how incredibly bad it was. And they're at the point now where even with all of this, they're not quite at the trust level yet. Even if this game, the expansion launch is great, it's really going to depend on the very next proper AAA game they put out. If that does well, you never completely forget, and people have sort of forgiven them, but you can sort of like go at the even keel. They'll break even as far as the public goodwill, and then it's like
even still, some PCs Cyberpunk does not run well.
Oh yeah, like even now on my PC, like I tried it, I put it at 720p and put the psycho stuff on, and it was 30 FPS. And I was like, whoa, at 720p. But it's like they designed a game that you could just break your PC, not break like permanently, like you could just break the install by trying to max it out, because they did the whole like Crisis thing. They just put stuff in there that could max out beyond what the hardware is capable of this generation.
It can't get on a 5090. It still can't get at 120.
Yeah. And that's with and the thing was that's with path tracing and psycho mode and all that stuff on. It's like, what?
Yeah.
You basically are looking at whatever the next generation of GPUs are, then you'll be able to do it. So it will be like 7 years after release, you'll be able to finally play it on max.
Yeah.
It's at a point where the people making the game using workstation graphics can't play the game on the max settings they've made for it.
Exactly.
So it's there. That's that. But this is, great goodwill stuff. They are on that rebuilding tour.
Yes.
You know that it's not just, like the CEO and the company is like, oh, up here. You know that everybody that worked on it felt bad. Like, nobody wants to work 7 years of their life developing a game and then potentially be hated by the people that are consuming your art.
Because this new expansion is being done by the team that is working on the Witcher 1 remake. They brought in a bunch of old devs that left CD Projekt
under really bad breakups,
bad conditions to do this.
Yeah, so like it's they're spending the money. It's a goodwill tour. They know that they have to build it back up, and as weird as it's going to sound, I almost feel like internally they're probably a little jealous and upset that, like, after their debacle, it was basically like Remedy and Larian that took the spotlight of, like, we're the premium
European
European indie devs that everybody loves, even if and Larian has the sales numbers to prove it, but like Remedy has like the critical praise, right?
Clout. So
so it's like between the two of them, like, they don't like, that it's a pride thing. They don't like that they were taken down a few pegs. They don't want to be compared,
because CD Projekt was one of the first, like literally one of the first
of the truly independent AAAs that were either still operating or operating at that scale. And what they don't want to be is they don't want to be constantly, when they were starting to be compared to like Quantic Dream with promises that were being not delivered, or there were like even memes at the time of like Lionhead with like Peter Molyneux, like oh yeah, promise the world and this is what you give us. Like, it's like they it's a pride thing. You work that hard, and people work so hard on those games, especially Witcher. Like Witcher and Cyberpunk, they work so hard. That they felt bad. So like, this is like, hey, get it off their chest, do a good solid for the community. It's the goodwill will translate into sales of their next game. So it is a smart investment. So we'll see how it goes.
It's always been about doing a smart investment, especially with this, especially because they're doing Witcher 1 remake. Because that game is broken as shit. I impossible to play.
I own 1 and 2 on PC. I have never been able to get 1 to properly work, even under like mods and stuff.
Well, okay. Here's the problem. The Steam version of Witcher 1 does not function.
I have the GOG version, which is the one version that should work.
Yeah, the one that does work. The one that should work, yes. Quite literally, there's a thing where you have to go to a specific page on GOG, input your Steam account code, and it will give you a free GOG version that works.
Oh, wow. Okay, yeah. And Witcher 2, it's a very clunky control scheme that doesn't work great with controllers, and even on mouse and keyboard, it feels odd. The third game feels good.
Even the console version plays like shit.
Like
The Witcher
1
2.
and 2, the remakes of 1 and 2 are clearly not going to be like remake with new graphics. They are like remake in the.
We're building this thing from the ground up,
with
especially Witcher 1.
Yeah. So doing that is a smart move, and that's maybe how I'll get into it, because I've tried playing Witcher 3, and something just didn't pull me in. I'm not a fan of like degrading items and armor where you have to go to a blacksmith to fix them. I never liked that in games. I also don't like that, you have to use the silver sword on certain items. You have to. I know it's from the books and it's great lore. It's just not mechanics that I personally like. So I have to like get into the right mindset to play it. I did like how it was presented, and when I did try a little bit of the third game on my PC, I put it at 1080p and maxed out the settings. The thing that impressed me the most is it probably has the best foliage and wind system that I'd ever seen,
Yes.
other than Ghost of Tsushima.
Also, it's one of those miracle ports on Switch. And speaking of which, that enhanced version of Witcher 3 is coming to Switch 2, very specifically.
Great. So there, great.
So that's
So,
another that's another miracle port, basically.
yeah, exactly, right? So, I mean, lots of cool stuff here again, but nothing, as we said, it's like a B grade. Nothing blew us completely away. There's some really cool stuff, like I mentioned, from Ubisoft and from some of these other companies.
Something that I want to point out that we didn't touch on yet. Hoyoverse announced a Souls-like game. That game is not going to have any gacha in it. That is a first for them.
Right. That's right. So
they
cool.
do have a landing page on their website to sign up for the beta, like early access or beta or whatever the heck they are doing. It is technically hidden on the page. I had to go and search the actual game itself to get to the launch page, so it's kind of weird in that sense. But there is a page on their account, so you can sign up using your Hoyoverse account or whatever. If you have a Hoyoverse account, I had to sign up for it. But yes, you have that in a little questionnaire just for like statistics and whatnot, kind of gauging who's interested in our new game or whatever.
Which, I mean, that's cool. You could be the guy. You could be our guinea pig, because it looks interesting, but it's also not the kind of game I usually play. Right?
Oh, yeah, it's not the game either of you guys are gonna play anyway. So,
yeah, I mean, if it's the kind of thing where it has to be like something special and unique in that style for me to be like, yeah, I'll seek it out. Otherwise, yeah. I don't ever. I try not to be like completely biased and be like, oh, I won't review it if it comes in. If something comes in, I give it a fair shake. But if I have the inkling that it's something that I'm really gonna really dislike, even though I do think objectively it's probably a good game, that's when I pass it off to somebody else to review, because it's like, why should I review something that I know I'm not going to like?
Yeah. And I mean,
right?
Mike has tried. I will admit, Mike has tried.
He's tried a few of them, and he's not on board either.
Yeah. It's a very certain type of game that just like really scratches an itch that I love. But again,
and that's perfect.
I started my gaming on one of the first games I played was Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, one of the hardest NES games in existence. So like,
well,
I like to get my ass beaten.
There you go. But yeah, I mean, that's probably going to wrap up what, the major stuff that was announced here. We'll be back with more coverage, maybe not right away, but if there's a lot of other cool things announced over the next week or so, we'll do sort of a roundup of that. There's been other showcases and stuff over the last month or so, but there wasn't anything that like completely knocked our socks off. I think it's not the right time for it. Like, we're not getting like other, like, I don't think Nintendo's doing a complete show this month. It's probably September.
Yeah, they might do early September at this point. There's a whole bunch of stuff there's a whole bunch of Switch stuff that the developers have said it's coming. We just can't announce when the date is, which tells me Nintendo is putting it into a direct.
And they still have to show the gameplay of Zelda, right? So
yeah, they still need to show Zelda. They're probably announcing that the week after GTA or something.
There'll be an
Nintendo.
Xbox.
They don't give a shit.
There'll be an Xbox thing at TGS, at the actual event of TGS. They usually do a showcase.
They'll probably do a similar thing to what they're doing. Oh no, they do. They actually do an event at TGS.
They do an actual.
Showcase
because they only do.
Yeah.
They do like 3 developer showcases a year now, right? There's one in like January. They do the one for Summer Game Fest, the big one, and then they do one for TGS. And then Sony usually has a September Direct.
Yeah,
State
so
of Play.
I would expect Sony to probably do their State of Play at the end of September.
They either, that's the thing, they either do it at the very end or they do it before TGS.
Yeah,
that's just sort of how they've been.
the week before
So we'll
TGS, which would be and I don't think Nintendo's doing TGS this year, are they?
That's the crazy thing is they're apparently at Gamescom. Like they have a presence
they are
there.
definitely at Gamescom. They're doing a bunch of stuff at Gamescom. I know that. But I don't think Nintendo doesn't really do TGS all that much anymore. They might do it this year because TGS is expanded to
TGS is the
most
17th,
of the week.
It's the 17th to the 21st.
So it's most of the week now.
If memory serves, previous years, Sony has done their showcase on the 9th to 12th.
Yeah.
It is when they've usually done theirs. And then I believe how Xbox works is Xbox usually does theirs either right before or right after the official like Japanese
opening
language
of
only
TGS.
Opening of TGS. They'll do their broadcast within the first day. Like usually they have their schedule for the day.
But like now TGS is 4 days instead of I think 2.
It was 3 before. It was 3 last year at least.
So they expanded to 4 now.
Yeah, so it's usually in the first day. So it's like 1 p.m.
Yeah. I'm sure usually. Xbox has actually announced it at this point.
Yeah, or will be very, very soon. They'll probably announce it after the 2 days that they're doing at Gamescom. Like they're doing their version of like the Treehouse stuff coming up. I bet at the end of that they'll be like, "Hey, we'll see you at Tokyo Game Show next
in a couple of weeks."
Yeah, so something like that. Again, so we'll do coverage of that. It might be multiple. If it's over multiple days of things, we'll do a few of those. There will be probably some longer form reviews that we'll have that we might put into the prototype.
Oh, well, we'll be in the middle of Hell Month because it's September.
so we will be having some dedicated shows, just because we won't be able to fit everything that's coming out into like a regular review show or a regular weekly topical show. It'll be like
a whole bunch of us are. I'm sure all of us are going to be playing Wolverine.
Yeah, that's the point. Like all those games, if we're getting them at close to release or at release day, we're not going to be like scheduling for specific days to do our reviews. They will be like prototypes if they're like more than 15, 20 minutes long that we're discussing, and they will come out the day that we finish the game, just so that we can make sure we're on top of things. But yeah, that's probably going to do it for us right now. We are still on our break for about another week and a half, till we get back to doing regular weekly shows. We have lots of new stuff from Earth vs. Soup coming. We have some in the Monday slots for the next week or two. We are going to have, I believe, some evergreen content from a Random Access Memories, and I think we also have at
like
least
a couple of loose cannons still
I think so. At least one or two there. I'll have to double check. But we've got stuff.
We have at least like 4 or 5 Random Access Memories in the hopper. And
it's just they're not like up on our server yet. I think a couple of them either have to be finished editing or I have to double check, and I might have to get them scheduled myself. But we've got some stuff there. But it's looking like not the week of Labor Day. It'll be the week after that. Birdman and I are back doing the regular show. So we'll have
that's
something
the week
out
before, and I believe that's the week before TGS.
Yeah, so we're going to be back doing the regular show. Let me see the exact date. It'll be the 14th. So yeah, it's going to be the week before. So depending if they do like some showcases and Sony does stuff or Xbox does stuff on like the 18th, 19th, or 20th, we'll see about that because we might replace the regular show with the prototype in its place for that.
Yeah.
As we go, but we'll know as we go later on in the next couple weeks. But that's it. We'll be back next month, technically, right here at thisweekingeek.net.
At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought.
Thanks for listening to this episode of This Week in Geek. Hungry for more? Check out our website at thisweekingeek.net. You can subscribe to the podcast, browse our Twitter and Instagram, and leave your thoughts on today's topics. If you'd like to give us some feedback, send us an email at feedback@thisweekingeek.net. Tune in next time, and remember,
lower your shields and surrender your listenership.
We would be honored if you would join us.
Thank you for your cooperation. Good night.